What's going on, everybody? Happy new comic book day, and you already know it's the first of the month. Let's jump right into the DC books since that's what I have in the pile in front of me. And we're going to start with this Gotham City Villains Anniversary Issue #1. I picked this up because I saw it promoted in so many comic books over the last few weeks. I didn't realize it was one of these 100-page spectaculars with multiple stories in it. The first story by Danny DeVito, a Catwoman Penguin story, where they're actually a couple and they're in love and they're like robbing heists and doing stuff like that together. Kind of weird and kind of out there. It had some other good little short stories with pinups in between. There was a good Poison Ivy story. There was a Scarecrow story. If you're into these kind of anthology small stories within a trade paperback style format, it might be for you. But for me, it was kind of like, whatever. Then we're going to move on to the annuals. Guys, I normally don't pick up annuals. I kind of feel like they're the same as those type of short stories, oversized books, a drag to get through. Not today, not this week. These annuals were fire. They were better than the ongoing. So Batman 2021 annual was pretty cool. This one focused more around Ghostmaker, and it's calling itself the conclusion of Ghostmaker, maybe because Tynion is leaving to Substack and not working on Batman anymore. But it was kind of cool. You got to see Ghostmaker as a child and kind of what formed him into the man that he became. And then this kind of like last battle fighting with Batman against the Fear State stuff. So the annuals were great, man. They were well paced. The art was great within them. And I feel like maybe they try to drag the stories on a little bit too long when it's an ongoing. And then these annuals, they got to tell a solid single story, but they had a lot of room to breathe since they're oversized. Then we have Justice League Dark by Ron V and Dan Waters. Now, this is the only one that was a little bit slow for me. I stopped reading the Justice League Dark stuff that were backups in, I don't even remember what they were in, maybe the regular Justice League. This one kind of started the same. A lot of stuff with Merlin, a lot of this kind of roundtable discussion with Constantine and all these characters. But it ended up getting really interesting, talking about this character who gave his soul up. I'm not really familiar with the character. He walked backwards in order to see the fight between whoever. I don't know. It was a magical issue. I'm not really into that, but I did find myself kind of a little bit more intrigued once I got about halfway through this book. Next up, we have the Robin Annual. Now, based off the cover, you know, they say don't judge a book by its cover. I thought I wasn't going to like this. I thought it was going to be heavily on like the manga stuff they've been teasing throughout the Robin series, but actually what it really was a flatline origin that takes place before Robin issue 6, which the timing of this could have been a little bit better, but I really like the flatline origin, how she gets her powers by killing people and basically absorbing their powers. So I thought that was really cool. Then kind of showing her perspective going into the battle on the Lazarus Island and then fighting Robin. As we know in issue 1, she rips his heart out like Kano from Mortal Kombat. So this one ended up being really good. I got a chance to learn more about Flatline. Plus, it gave you smaller stories of the other characters like Respawn and like Hawk, so you got a better understanding of who they were. All right, then we had Wonder Woman. This is by Clunan and Conrad with McDonald and Filardi. So this is the same creative team on the ongoing, but I kind of like this one. It felt like Gal Gadot, Wonder Woman, kind of her trying to reconcile with this friend now that she's back in the living and trying to meet her at this Wonder Woman kind of museum. The beginning of this story of these male characters that are secretly living on Themyscira, which is forbidden. Men can't set foot there, but they've been living under some type of bridge or something. They're all albino looking or whatever. So kind of setting up the seeds for a new arc in the ongoing title, which is what a lot of these books ended up doing, kind of setting up stuff that's going to happen in the regular series. Then we had the Joker Annual, James Tynion, again with Rosenberg and Fran Sevilla. This one was really cool. The artwork reminded me of like Gotham Central, like a Brubaker type of book where it's kind of pretty gritty, not overly detailed, solid colors. And it tells the story of James Gordon, his work-life balance with his daughter. He doesn't know that Barbara is Batgirl, but he kind of seems to know a little bit. And going against the Joker, kind of a flashback to Gordon, if you will. I thought it was a cool issue. Funny how the Joker book is really a Gordon story, just like the main ongoing has been. But it does tie in with the Joker. I think it's about him going after Joker in the earlier years. Then we have Nightwing. Y'all, I almost gave this one pick of the week, but I forgot there was a banger book that came out this week. I loved The Annual by Tom Taylor. I tell you, Tom Taylor can do some good-ass writing when he really wants to. Torme, HDR, Fernandez, Barreto, and Calise. This was an amazing Nightwing Red Hood team up. It starts off with Red Hood seemingly caught on body cam killing these 3 guys, but the guys were undercover FBI agents, and as one of them is dying, he's like, "You're f***ed, man. We're FBI agents." And Batgirl, Barbara, and Dick Grayson are looking at the footage like, oh man, what are we going to do? Then it flashes back to a young Jason Todd as Robin, and Nightwing back in his 70s costume, kind of bonding with him, trying to get to know him better. He's put on punishment, but he's kind of breaking the rules, and Alfred's in on it. It's really touching, and the way that this story comes full circle, it was amazing. I love this issue, man. Very close to being the pick of the week for me. All right, then we're out of the annual. So I ended up picking up Action Comics. I missed part 1 of this arc. I ended up dropping the title, but I didn't realize Action was going to continue the Clark Kent story. Well, we'll see how that goes after this issue in the battle for Warworld. I really like the Warworld stuff. The Mongol stuff is great. This is by Johnson, Mendonca, and Lucas. And yeah, I thought it was really cool. It has a Martian Manhunter backup story, which was kind of cute, supposed to be a little bit folksy, if you will, how Martian Manhunter portrays these different people throughout life, and he's always somebody else's face, and he's living in his apartment with his dog Oreo or Double Stuff. But the battle in Action Comics, I don't want to talk too much about it because of spoilers, but epic battle. I'm very interested to see what happens in the next issue. A lot of DC books, guys. So Wonder Girl issue 5 is here by Jones, Mello, and Belair. Yara Flor refusing to drink out of the gauntlet to become immortal and be up there on Mount Olympus with the gods. So rebelling, which is kind of like what we thought was going to happen. The art style is great here. It's a refreshing type of story, a newer character who is learning things as we're reading along with her. And we get introduced to yet another island of Amazons here. Well, I say island, it's in Brazil. Another area where Amazons live that's not Themyscira, so that was pretty interesting, setting up some new and cool stuff in Wonder Girl. Then we have Fear State Omega, issue 1. It's a one-shot. Tiny and Federici, Deuce, March, Benjamin, Hairsign, Sotomayor. So at first I thought, oh man, an epilogue now to Fear State. Didn't we have enough Fear State endings with all the tie-ins and with the Batman run? But this was a really good issue of what happens to Scarecrow after Fear State and his interaction with Batman. I thought it was amazing. It was great storytelling. The art style was nice and murky and kind of dark. But this was a true ending to Fear State. Kind of wrapping up those loose ends with the Peacekeeper and with Scarecrow. So this one was worth it. You're probably good enough reading Alpha, Batman, and Omega and just being done with it, like most events. Then we have the Human Target, issue number 2. This one's by Tom King with Greg Smallwood. This one was cool. So we know that this guy who is hired to be a body double if you are afraid that somebody's trying to kill you. So he takes a bullet for Lex Luthor, survives it because he's expecting it, but his coffee gets poisoned. So it's kind of going through the last 12 days of his life. We're on day 2, and he's here with this character that I'm not really familiar with. I'm pretty sure she's from Justice League International. I want to say her name is it Ice? Is it Cold? Something like that. Very adult, very mature. This guy's kind of spending the day with her, trying to put together the mystery of who's trying to kill Lex Luthor, in turn sentencing him to death, and how is she involved? Is it people that are around her? Is it Guy Gardner, her ex? So very interesting detective type of stuff, and just nice interactions between these characters. Then we got Justice League Incarnate, issue 1 out of 5 from Williamson, Culver, Breeson, Peterson, Durenick, and Hi-Fi. Who is Dr. Multiverse? So this is spinning out of the miniseries Infinite Frontier. It's talking about this fracture, this crack in the multiverse that basically the Justice League Incarnate needs to fix and put together. It's the sequel to Infinite Frontier. So if you like the multiverse stuff and you like the Captain Carrot stuff, you're going to like all this. The Thomas Wayne Batman with this the female Flash. I thought it was okay. These multiverse books for me are a little hard to follow if you're more of a casual reader. It's kind of like, who the hell are all these people? And it could be tough to keep up with, but you could probably figure it out. I mean, I liked it just okay. All right, then we have the Detective Comics Annual. Had this in the back here by Tamaki, who's been killing it on Detective Comics. Rosenberg, Lapalm, Mulville, and Lou Ridge. So as Arkham Rises. So all this stuff is kind of setting up the Arkham Rises storyline that's going to happen in Detective Comics. They're building a new Arkham, and they keep on teasing this Dr. Chase Meridian. Now, if my memory serves me right, Chase Meridian was not an original comic book character, but the love interest in the Tim Burton Batman movie. Or was it the Val Kilmer movie? We All Wear Masks. Was that what it was? I think it was. Anyway, she's in the comics. They kind of been teasing her in a couple of different issues, unless I'm just thinking about the last issue of Detective. This one is cool. It's going to this character, Faust, who is, what's his real name? I don't remember his villain name, but kind of how Bruce Wayne first saw him when he saw his first death back when he was a child, and how his father saved him because of the doctor's oath, right? They don't pick and choose who they save. They're compelled to save somebody in need, and kind of how that lingered on through Batman's life, and that how he might have lost sight of that, and how villains are treated in Arkham, and how they go back on the streets and all that kind of stuff. Like I said, the annuals this week were great. And then we have Batman the Detective, issue 6 of 6, concluding this miniseries by Tom Taylor, Andy Kubert, Hope, and Anderson. I kind of thought it was a weak ending, y'all. I like this issue. It feels like Tom Taylor's take on The Dark Knight Returns, but, you know, Batman's older, he's beefier, and he's going after this cabal. I can't remember the name of them. I want to say the Unsanity Collection, but I think that's from the Batman title. They have some kind of group name. They're basically killing people that were saved by Batman, because Batman saves people, but then there's like a butterfly effect, a ripple effect. Like that person then can drunk drive and kill an innocent. So saving that person really killed somebody else. So that was like the whole plot. I did like the very ending of this, how it kind of came full circle into that, and how dedicated this group of people are to killing people that Batman has saved, like quite literally. So I liked that little aspect of it, but I thought this was a slow ending, man. All right, guys, now on to Marvel Comics, and let's start with this Death of Doctor Strange Spider-Man one-shot by McKay, Farima, Foucher, and Crossley. Yo, I really dug this issue. This is everything that the ongoing Spider-Man series should be. The Ben Reilly as this new Spider-Man working for the Beyond Corporation, and this was a team up with Black Cat, and I love how Black Cat doesn't buy the whole "you're Spider-Man" thing. She gives him a lot of shit, and it ends up just being them on a quest to fulfill some Doctor Strange's wishes on what people need to do in case he dies, tying up loose ends here and there, and them eventually growing to understand each other. I mean, especially Black Cat to understand Ben Reilly a little bit more. So I thought this was a great issue, and it gives me hope that maybe they could turn around the current ongoing. Next up, we have the Darkhold Black Bolt issue 1. This was by Russell, Cutler, Paggi, and Milla. So I did like this one as well. This one wasn't as horror-based, but a little kind of Twilight Zone-y, with Black Bolt stranded on this planet. He doesn't know how he got there. He's starting to remember bits and pieces on how he was being warned that something may happen, and something to do with Maximus, his brother. A really cool twist here, M. Night Shyamalan type of stuff. I've been digging all these Darkhold one-shots, man. They've been really good. All right, then we have the Avengers issue 50, which is Legacy 750. I was looking forward to this because in the free comic book day stuff, it looked pretty interesting. This was another oversized book. It was like 90 pages. It was so difficult to get through. I'm trying to even remember what happened in here. There was a bunch of different stories being told here, and it was all leading up to kind of one thing. I can't even remember what it was. It was such a drag, man. This was a tough book to get through. I remember kind of being interested in seeing the Ronnie Reyes Ghost Rider stuff, but I can't even remember what happened. Then we have Trial of Magneto issue 4. I thought it was funny. I kind of forgot this was still going on, man. So this one's by Williams, Wernick, Messina, and Delgado. And what can I say here? It feels like the conclusion. I'm not even sure, but you do have some explanation, some resolve here. What happened to Wanda, what could have killed her, and dealing with her past, present, and future self, trying to basically make Wanda whole. It was okay, man. I don't know how many people are really into this series, but kind of wraps up. Then we have Darth Vader issue 18 by Pack, Kirk, and Sinclair. I wanted to jump back on this because it didn't look like a tie-in to that Star Wars event that was going on. And everything Darth Vader in this book was cool and super badass, but it's like a fourth of the book. Everything else surrounds all these other characters that I have no idea who they are, have no interest in what's going on. It's super boring. They're really hurting this Darth Vader book by just not focusing on Vader. Then we have Darkhawk issue number 4. This is by Kyle Higgins with Ramirez and Arsene Yeager. This has been a strong book. This one is really a team up between the new Darkhawk, Miles Morales, and Captain America, as you can see on the cover. Pretty touching. Miles kind of playing the veteran while this new Darkhawk is the rookie. So that's kind of interesting to see. And tying it into what's going on with the overall thing, touching on his MS and touching on what his brother was involved with. So it was a good issue. Art style was pretty flashy. It reminded me like a Marvel team-up. Then we have Daredevil 36 by Chip Zadarski, Garcia, Smith, Hanna, and Menez. I think this is the last issue because then we're leading into that event that he's doing. What is it? Reign of Hell or Reign of the Devil? I thought it was a good issue. Daredevil is out and about. He's finally on the streets. He's linking up with Elektra. Some passionate stuff going down there. I like how she's still Daredevil, and then focusing on the Kingpin wedding with Typhoid Mary and kind of how this may change Kingpin. There is a power vacuum now with Izzy, the current Kingpin of New York, and that has something that happens here, tying it in to Mike Murdock, Daredevil's brother, and a nice little tease here, tying back to the fact that nobody knows who Daredevil is. Magic was cast across the world, so if you even try to read on paper that Daredevil is Matt Murdock, you'll read something else, or you'll see something else. So pretty interesting there. I thought it was a great, solid issue to end this epic run. Then we have Amazing Spider-Man issue 80. This is by Ziegler, Dowling, and Arbitov. Looking at the cover, I thought I was going to hate this. I didn't hate this book. I thought it was okay. You know, Kraven poisoned Ben Reilly in the last issue, so this very much played out like a Spider-Man video game where everything is all like messed up and he's not really quite sure what's up and what's down and what's going on here. The Beyond Corporation super pissed off that he goes on these kind of escapades, turning off his tracers and getting into these types of situations. There was some cool comic relief stuff with the Beyond Corporation. I thought that was cool. Overall, the issue, it kind of rounded itself out for me. I did enjoy it. And then lastly, for Marvel, we have Venom issue 2 by Rom V. He's joined by Hitch, Curry, and Sinclair. So I guess Rom V and Al Ewing will do stuff together and then do their own individual issues, which is pretty cool. I thought this one was just all right. Somebody's after Dylan Brock. They want the symbiotes. I really like how the symbiotes, the Venom symbiote turns into that bulldog, and Sleeper turns into the cat, and he's got his animals with him. I don't really like the interaction between Dylan and Venom. I thought they were tighter. I thought he was going to be the new Venom, and maybe he will be. But I know he's got this echo from Eddie saying, don't bond with Venom, and I wonder why that is. But it was just okay. You know, I kind of wanted more from this, but I guess we'll see where it goes. All right, guys, then let's move on to the Image stuff. So we have Firepower here by Robert Kirkman, issue 18. He's joined by Chris Samney, Matt Wilson, and Russ Wooten. So breakneck speed, super fast. It's flashy, fight scenes, kind of a conclusion here, a big hook at the end, something that this series has been teasing from the beginning. So that's very cool to see, but it's just been, man, such a fast-paced thing. You're flipping through it, and before you know it, you're done. But it is big and action-packed, and it was a cool, big, epic battle in this issue. Then from Boom Studios, we're going to go back and forth a little bit. We got Dark Blood, issue 5, Latoya Morgan, Moises Hidalgo, and AHG. I thought this one was better. This one is showing more of the origin on how he got his powers, what caused it, what did he do when he found out. So I like this one when they're showing the aspect of this character having powers. It's interesting to me. When it doesn't do that, I find it kind of dull and flat. But the art is good, and I kind of like the storytelling here on him. Basically, think about like Captain America, the First Avenger, or the origin of Captain America. He gets the serum, becomes the super soldier. This is kind of like that, but he unknowingly got the serum, and he got like telekinesis powers instead. Or, telekinesis. So it's got an interesting premise. There's one more issue. We're going to see how it ends. Back to Image, we have Department of Truth, issue 14 by Tynion, Simmons, and Bidikar. Department of Truth going Department of Truth. I thought the art style here was really eerie and creepy, man. You have this little boy out in the wilderness, and it just looks so scary. This one is kind of like the whole Fallout Shelter issue. Going to this guy who's built a bunker. They go down there, and he actually spills his guts on the reason why there's a bunker. And it's really cool, really intriguing. I don't really want to give spoilers about it. This is a conspiracy theory-based book, and this one was really trippy, man. I mean, they've all been really trippy, but this one was kind of scary, and this old man kind of explaining what's going to happen in the future and why he's got this bunker, and now get the hell out of here. Spawn issue 324 is here, and this one is by Rory McConville and Carlo Barbie. This one's cool. This one is really a medieval Spawn and Jim Downing Spawn. I kind of forgot about Jim Downing. I was reading Spawn monthly during that time when he became the new Spawn, and everybody got pissed off, and then I guess Al Simmons came back in Endgame, which was what, like issue 185 or so. So James Downing trying to really talk with Mark, because Mark was his guy on the computer, right? So now Mark has become the medieval Spawn, and they're trying to, I don't know, I guess Jim Downing is trying to coach him and how to deal with Al Simmons and stuff like that. So it was a pretty cool interaction between those characters. Not really remembering much else that happened here, but I've been enjoying the Spawn series, all of them so far. All right, next up we have from Mark Millar, King of Spies, issue number 1 with Matteo Scarlera. So this is very much a big action movie scene for like the first 1/3 or half of this book. It felt like a movie. Mark Millar doing big epic stuff like he always does. But the premise is like this kind of mercenary assassin guy towards the end of his life, realizing what has it all been for. He has only 6 months to live, so now he's made a decision that he's going to be dedicating the last 6 months of his life to making everything right in the world, and whatever that may be. It seems interesting, it seems fun, it's big and explosive, right up my alley. So this was a fun book, a good issue number 1 to kind of set the tone and give us an idea who this character is. All right, guys, before I jump into my favorite comic book of the week, my pick of the week, I got to give a big shout out to Whatnot, the sponsor of this video. They have an amazing app where you can buy and sell your comic books and collectibles. They really started in the Funko space. They do sports cards and comics. They take everything that's good about YouTube live auctions, like a live interaction, talking with you guys back and forth, and with everything good from eBay as far as having a built-in customer base, a built-in payment, and a built-in shipping system. It's super streamlined and convenient. It's super fast and a lot of fun. I've been doing bi-monthly auctions on there, and my next auction is going to be not today, but the next Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern, kicking off the Whatnot Wednesday with a slew of retailers like Comic Tom's on there, Mill Geek, Golden Age Guru, and Nerdy Girl Comics, just to name a few. Make sure you download by using the link in the description and in the pinned comment. It'll actually give you a $10 credit towards your first purchase on Whatnot. Make sure to follow me and bookmark my next live sale. I do plan on going on here every Wednesday now, so stay tuned for that. All right, guys, my pick of the week is The Me You Love in the Dark, issue 5, Scotty Young, Jorge Corona, Jean Francois, Belelu, and Nate Picos. What? This book is insane, man. You can see the house that's on fire now. You can see the creature from the dark kind of showing himself on the cover. And this is basically like a toxic relationship gone all the way bad, all the way domestic dispute type of levels, to the point where the house had to catch on fire for one reason or the other. This series has been fun. It's been real. I feel like somebody's got to hug Scotty Young. He seems like he knows what a toxic relationship is like all too well, because he depicts it so well from the beginning, and everything's nice and everything is new, and how it gets obsessive and controlling and just snowballs into this terrible event, and it gets really scary and you're like freaking out. It's fast paced, awesome book, pick of the week. I'm surprised, but it deserves it, man. Thanks for watching the new Comic Book Day reviews, y'all. Stay minty fresh. Peace.